So that was the report related to me. They said that Jackson Hinkle is pushing misinformation about the Charlie Kirk assassination. They said that this requires demands a whole of government response on par with cyber attacks or terrorism. It is an urgent national security threat. And they said that I was pushing Russian, Iranian, and Pakistani propaganda campaigns about Charlie Kirk. It's actually ludicrous. It goes without saying that there's probably a lot going on in the Biden administration, in the Trump administration, when it comes to the federal government utilizing whatever it can, wherever it can, to try and silence or create psyop campaigns against the most outspoken dissidents of said government. Now, during the Biden administration, most of you know that they were working in cahoots with these social media companies to the nth degree to silence anyone who is critical of the genocide in Gaza or of the proxy war against Russia. You know, going all the way back to the beginning of the Biden administration, I remember that it was Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation, which is some new ministry they created back in like 2023 it was, I think. It was kind of like a late addition. They realized they needed to wage a war on all fronts, including the media front. And they were responsible for getting my YouTube account banned. Like the last video I did on YouTube was like I went to like a Russian KFC in Moscow. I was on my first trip there. I vlogged there and I got banned. And then I came to find out that actually it was this Ministry of Digital Transformation led by Ukraine. They had like a privated forum group where they would discuss and target different channels, different accounts. So many of the people you know who got banned over Russia-related content, they got banned by Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation. I was one of many, right? Also just so happens to be that the Biden administration was intrinsic to actually not only establishing in a meaningful way, but expanding that ministry in Ukraine and funding them, because we funded and still do fund in a lot of ways, you know, their whole government. So this is something that we've all dealt with for a long time. But what's so interesting now is that we're living in a world where Trump was quite literally a victim of this sort of government-led suppression and censorship. He got all of his accounts banned after he left the presidency in his first campaign. He was like one of the most banned people in the world, and he was the president. And now, okay, maybe he's not banning me and Tucker and Candace and Alex Jones and Ian Carroll, right? We haven't been banned yet from anywhere. Well, I'm still banned from Meta. I'm banned from Instagram and Facebook still, but and Venmo and PayPal. But they are doing something very interesting. It was just revealed this week by someone named Gabrielle Cuccia, who's not just a random person, by the way. This Gabrielle is an individual who served in the Trump White House in 2017 and 2018. Then later covered the building for One American News, OAN, you probably all remember, and became OAN's chief Pentagon correspondent in early 2025 when the network inherited NBC's former Pentagon workspace. She was fired that spring after publishing a Substack column criticizing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's press restrictions, which was a column she framed at trying to save MAGA, keep MAGA alive. So her conservative Trump world credentials, you know, that you don't even need to dive into it. I mean, she's as credentialed, she's as legit as one could ever imagine. And now she is blowing the whistle on a new thing that the Trump administration has been doing, and in all likelihood will continue to do, to psyop the American public, to distract them from the issues that we are talking about here on this show. But not just that. Also, to attack influencers, commentators, journalists. I'll throw myself under the commentator section of the groups I just listed. To attack people like myself, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Ian Carroll, and other dissidents. So you have the presidency led by the man who is a victim of all of these social media giants and tycoons, now working with them to create these bot networks, these AI-generated bot network campaigns in a psyop to try and dissuade average Americans from listening to things that they, frankly, need to hear and actually care about hearing. Not only that, though, they're also doing something that really did not shock me, as I've followed Candace Owens' work on uncovering the madness that is Nick Shirley, this agent that came out of nowhere, agent of change that came out of nowhere. And in the midst of, the Iran war, supposedly Nick Shirley was trying to convince us all that we actually know we shouldn't be caring about Iran and the billions of dollars that we're sending to genocidal rapists in Israel. But no, we should be focused on like Somali fraud in Minnesota, like in the tens of thousands of dollars or something. It's like, who the hell are you, Nick? Why is this getting boosted all over my social media? Who is this agent of change? Then he goes to Cuba. Nick Shirley goes to Cuba, and he's doing all this fake stuff there. He's like in a hotel, and he's like perfectly fine. And he's like, the Cubans are after me. It's like, bro, they let you into their country. You're in like the nicest hotel. You're fine. Like, you could go out on the streets, you can go walk around. Like, he's acting like the biggest victim. And it's because, to put it quite simply, Nick Shirley is a Zionist agent. He is quite literally a Zionist agent. And if you're wondering right now, Jackson, how is it that they're creating these PSYOP campaigns? What is this woman, Gabrielle Cuccia, blowing the whistle on? To put it quite simply, Gabriella Cuccia is blowing the whistle on the simple fact that the Trump administration, and specifically figures like Deputy Assistant to the President, Sebastian Gorka, who has me blocked on Twitter, is working with private companies based in Israel, giving them, in all likelihood, ungodly amounts of money to spy on individuals like myself and the other dissidents I mentioned, and then create PSYOP campaigns to try and undermine the things that they're saying by specifically attacking them. In one of the documents, and I don't have all the documents, I messaged Gabrielle Cuccia and I said, hey, would you please send me all the documents related to me? I said, even if you don't want me to publish them, I'll give you my word, I won't publish them. Because, I don't know, maybe there's some like legal liability for her to send those things. She went out and posted all of them, which I found insane, but no. What's going on here is in these documents, they're saying that, for example, I was a part of some grand Iranian, Pakistani, Russian, Chinese, North Korean online influence campaign to point out that there were a lot of unanswered questions and oddities with the Charlie Kirk assassination. And in the documents, they specifically mentioned me regarding the Charlie Kirk story and that I was the first person to question, why is Netanyahu tweeting about this 2 times within like 30 minutes, and he's waging 7 wars across the world right now, halfway across the world, and he's tweeting about Charlie Kirk? And then he went out and did those interviews, and then he said, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk, we didn't kill Charlie Kirk, and then he put out a fake letter that he claimed Charlie sent him, but he left out the part that Charlie said he wasn't going to go to Israel. I was like, what is this? And then the documents that Gabrielle released said that the Trump administration wanted a whole government response to the misinformation being peddled by myself about Charlie Kirk and what happened. Whole government response. Those were their words. So let's take a look at this, okay? Also, by the way, the reason why I brought up Nick Shirley is because he's a part of this as well. Basically, the White House is just outsourcing their spying, their social media monitoring, spying, and their influence campaigns. And they did that with Nick Shirley, according to Gabrielle Cuccia, and they did that with this Israeli company. And apparently I'm now a target. So I saw this shared by a few people. Cassandra McDonald said, wow, read this. Then I saw Alex Jones say, This is even worse than it looks. The Trump administration outsourced government weaponization to Israel so Americans could be targeted without congressional oversight. Trump is using the same illegal tactics that were used on him against one of his oldest supporters. As usual, I am a major target in the documents obtained from Sebastian Gorka, Israeli intelligence. I was like, what the hell? I remember I was like busy, but I was seeing this on my phone. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Then I saw Tucker's brother, Buckley Carlson, tweet this out. Questioning the narrative on Charlie Kirk's death represents urgent national security threat for Trump. Nick Shirley's a Fed. Sebastian Gorka is a lying tard. What remains of MAGA is entirely financed. They weren't listening to veteran patriots like Joe Kent and Tulsi. See who they were listening to. And then Candace tweeted this out. Stop what you're doing and read this, and then share it. So I said, okay, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to read this. And to my surprise, I was included in this. Gabriel Cuchilla. You may be wondering two things. What happened to Trump? Who is he listening to? Number two, why does it feel like the internet isn't real and engagement is fluctuating based on particular topics lately? I think I can help answer both questions. There is a company called Vine and Figtree, VFT for short. VFT is a pro-Israel organization with ties to the administration. Editor's note here. The company is actually VFT. It's actually based in Israel. Why is this moving like that? What the hell is this? Okay. The company is actually based in Israel. Not only pro-Israel, they're Israeli-based with a 501c3 proxy set up in Michigan. Yeah, can't make it up. Can't make it up. They just set up some sort of proxy for tax purposes. So they can take your taxpayer money in Michigan. Earlier this year, VFT was at the White House meeting with Sebastian Gorka, deputy assistant to the president, and now he is the head counterterrorism official in the Trump administration. Shortly after that White House meeting, I was contacted through a third party and asked to script write for VFT. The individual who contacted me is publicly very Christian and widely perceived as America first. So they've got these lying hacks and they're claiming that they're America first, and actually they're working with Israeli intelligence. I was told the script would be used to create AI-generated video on behalf of the White House, specifically for the National Security Council and Sebastian Gorka. You hear that? You hear that? So the White House, the National Security Council, and Sebastian Gorka, deputy assistant to the president, head national counterterrorism official, is sourcing out a private Israeli company to run PSYOP campaigns against myself, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Ian Carroll, all the influencers you know and love. I was then given a Dropbox link containing research, polling data, internal comments, and strategy material compiled by VFT and third party involved. Inside the Dropbox were 7 folders. Through those documents, I learned more about what this organization actually does. The reports monitor major conservative and dissident right accounts and frequently frame those accounts as vulnerable to or participating in foreign influence operations. In another report, they argue that distrust surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination was mostly due to Americans falling for Russian, Iranian, and Pakistani propaganda networks. Can you believe that? Oh, Pakistan is now creating propaganda to make you fall for Charlie Kirk's, that you don't buy a Kash Patel. Oh, it's all about Kash Patel because he's Indian. Is that what this is about? Because you guys remember this? The reason why I know she's on it is because literally May 19th, we had this from the New York Post. The New York Post published this, said, Russia, Pakistan, and Houthi rebels all using the same U.S. influencer, Jackson Hinkle, to spread misinformation to 3 million followers. So they posted this accusing me of being not just a conduit of like the Houthis and Russia, but also Pakistan, a country I've never even been to. Pretty amazing. It's just because like I have a lot of problems with what is going on in India, and I think it's funny to point out in a lot of instances. But yeah, that's what they're saying. They're literally saying this is the best that money can buy. This Israeli intelligence apparently believes that I am somewhat somehow, some way, a Pakistani media peddler or something. I don't even know. In the same Charlie Kirk report, they state this represents an urgent national security threat and demands a whole of government response on par with cyber attacks or terrorism. So that was the report related to me. They said that Jackson Hinkle is pushing misinformation about the Charlie Kirk assassination. They said that this demands a whole of government response on par with cyber attacks or terrorism. It is an urgent national security threat. And they said that I was pushing Russian, Iranian, and Pakistani propaganda campaigns about Charlie Kirk. It's actually ludicrous. Okay? All right. So, anyways, let's... They contemplate working with others. This is about like running JD Vance for president as well. So the odd thing was here, she mentioned my name in this. She said that I was mentioned specifically in the Charlie Kirk section. Like the Charlie Kirk section was mostly about me, which also was surprising because I'm like, Candace did the most, she did the most work there. But in these initial documents, I didn't see my name. Apparently, Haz al-Din, the chairman of the American Communist Party, he actually found it somewhere online, part of this mentioning of myself. It says, within 30 minutes of the first reports that Kirk had been shot, a Russian, Iran, Turkey-linked information operation seeded and amplified the narrative that it was a professional assassination carried out by the Mossad. In the days following... These same, okay, blah, 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 blah. And the days following, these same two narratives were aggressively promoted by Russian influence nodes, such as Jackson Hinkle and Alexander Dugin, sanctioned by the Treasury Department since 2015. Oh, Alexander Dugin and his protege and colleague from the International Russophile Movement, Jackson Hinkle, co-founder of the American Communist Party, is a frequent guest in Moscow and publicly aligns himself with Iranian proxy groups such as Hezbollah and Ansar Allah. I don't want to, I don't want to make them feel upset that they did so much work and this whole thing is like insane. It feels like it's out of some poorly written spy novel or something, but they're making me sound way cooler than I actually am. As recently as September 2nd, 1 week before Kirk's assassination, Hinkle interviewed Dugin on his show, Legitimate Targets, in an episode titled Dugin Exposes Deep State Civil War. Dugin later authored... Okay, so I interviewed him on his show. Dugin later authored a Substack article entitled Charlie Kirk's Death in the Coming Civil War. Hinkle mentioned Kirk on X at least 90 separate posts, generating 60 million views. Damn. We're flying through those mainstream media blockades. Okay, so what else does this say? They say that I'm amplified by bot networks. Okay, well, even if that's true, even if that was true, that like hypothetically they claim I have a portion of my audience that is regurgitating stuff I post, and they're saying bot networks. What they mean, they don't mean that my followers are even fake here. What they're saying is that other people just copy and paste the same exact things that I post, and then they repost it with the same photos or videos. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I have 3 million followers from people all across the world, and when I have a post that blows up and gets like, 20 million views, I have no control over whether or not some random person in Turkey or South Africa just copy and paste my post and repost it, and it'll get like 1 like or so. Like, how am I supposed to be to blame for that? They're waging these like psyop campaigns against me with a whole government response, national security, urgent national security threat, National Security Council, White House, Sebastian Gorka all involved. It's like, how the hell am I supposed to dictate whether or not some random person with like 50 followers in Uganda copy and paste my post and repost it with the same photo. How stupid is this? Oz said unregistered Israeli foreign agents and Sebastian Gorka helped produce the White House latest 16-page counterterrorism online strategy. In it, they desperately attempt to frame Jackson Hinkle as a foreign agent of Russia with no evidence because Jackson reported the irregularities surrounding the Kirk assassination. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and other dissidents were named in the report. The U.S. regime is embarking on a new war against the First Amendment to silence anti-Israel voices by labeling them foreign agents. Their evidence? The classic Russiagate paradigm. If a single Russian says the sky is blue, and you too say the sky is blue, that is somehow evidence you're repeating Kremlin propaganda. Yeah. Gorka is targeting my party, but it's worth noting out 3 years ago, I actually humiliated him so badly in a Twitter space that he blocked me. Yeah, that was actually the same thing that happened with me and him too. Anyways, so Gabrielle posts here about like some of the AI videos that they've been creating. This is one of their bot accounts they use. Patriot Paul 1776. Totally realistic. Patriot Paul 1776. What else do we got here? So yeah, they're going after Dan Bilzerian. They're going after Tucker Carlson, trying to undermine their influence online. There was a really interesting part in here where she was talking about Nick Shirley, how Nick Shirley is a part of this whole thing too, because she said that when she was talking to the CEO of the company, does she have the links in here to when she was talking to the CEO of the company? That part was so interesting. Well, in one of her original posts, she said, there's a company I'm familiar with that works with the White House, specifically Gorka. Oh, is this it? Yeah. Last time I spoke to them, the owner of the company was telling me about a project the White House requested of him. During my conversation with the individual, he said, yeah, we have to do this on behalf of them because they don't want it to look like it's actually coming from the White House. You know what I mean? I mean, it worked out for them and Nick Shirley. So Nick Shirley's just, take out the, what do they call it? The fig and vine tree company, the Israeli company, and replace it with Nick Shirley. It's the same thing. Worth also mentioning, they did a report on the assassination of Charlie Kirk as well and alleged that Jackson Hinkle and other accounts are the reason Americans are questioning what really happened to Charlie Kirk. The key claims in the report include Iranian, Russian, and Pakistani linked accounts allegedly push narratives around civil war and Mossad. Israel was responsible. So pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing, but unsurprising to say the least. Apparently your boy and Tucker and Candace, apparently we are an urgent national security threat now as I stream in my studio here, and I've got the same suit on I've had on for years. I'm just like a real national security threat, you guys. Apparently all you in the chat, you're agitators as well in this. You are the conduits of this Pakistani intelligence and these media campaigns from Pakistan, right? So we'll keep a close eye on that one. Pretty amazing. Apparently, we now are being targeted directly by the White House. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.